Welcome to another episode of Eggcellent Adventures. Reec right here. This is a very special episode. I got one of my friends, my buddies, my homies, Matt Greenhorn Grove is in the building. He also has a wonderful foundation. These guys are doing some amazing things, but how we met was on the internet. I lost some chickens. A puppy got to him, made chicken nuggets out of them. Matt saw the post and he sent me hatching eggs, and we've been cool ever since. My brother from another, what's going on?
Hey man, what's going on? What's happening?
I've been looking forward to it. We've been talking about this for a minute.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this. This is, like I told you, this is my first real podcast experience. So I'm excited to be here.
In studio. This is our sub studio until we move back to the farm and have our farm studio. But like I said, I'm excited to get here. So what we ask everybody getting into this is, what is their old cluck moment? What was a moment that you knew I'm doing this backyard chicken thing or farming thing or homesteading thing or agriculture thing?
You know what's funny is we bought the farm and we got there and I had no idea what I was doing at all.
None of us do.
I got there. I mean, I come from the city and I'm like, all of a sudden I have 25 acres and I have farm buildings and all this stuff. And I was going to Tractor Supply for something else. And my wife said to me, she said, you know, they have chickens there. And I was like, okay. I got down there, I looked at the chickens and I was like, all right, I'll get some of these. And I was like, how many chickens should I get? And she goes, I don't know, a dozen?
Like eggs, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got a dozen chickens. And then I got them home and we got the brooder and all that stuff set up. The guy at Trash Supply helped me out. And then she's like, okay, now you have to build a coop. And I was like, oh.
So you got chicken math early.
Yeah. Didn't have a coop, didn't know how to take care of them. I had one bag of food and 12 chickens.
Wow.
So, all right, this is gonna get ugly quick.
That's funny. Had no idea that was not gonna work.
No. And then in very me fashion, I spent like $3,000 or $4,000 total, building out these elaborate chicken coops with hatcheries and automatic doors, and I have my chicken coop has I think 18 nesting boxes in it.
Yeah.
For a dozen chickens.
And they probably pile all into one box.
They do. They use 2 boxes and put all the eggs in there.
That's hilarious, man. So how much stuff did you build, before I get back on task, how much stuff did you build in there that you don't use?
I think right now I'm using most of it.
Okay.
Nowadays. It only took me 5 years to get there. But I didn't use most of it at first for a long time.
Yeah, man. It's stuff like that this is what this podcast is about. It's just inspirational to the person that wants to get into backyard agriculture, whether it's gardening or raising chickens, because our background is similar. Collegiate sports, athletes, nightlife, right?
Yep.
Nothing to do with agriculture or growing. No. Had you ever even owned plants before you got into this?
I think I had some table cactuses.
Same cactuses.
You see them at the checkout aisle at Home Depot, and they come in a fancy. And you're like, I keep that alive probably.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cactus. Yeah. What could go wrong?
even after it dies, it still looks like a plant. So it just sit there.
That's cool, man. 5 years later, now you have a foundation that's helping build gardens around the country. You're sending free seeds to people. I feel like I could learn how to plant an entire garden ecosystem, self-sustainability situation just by watching your posts.
I mean, I see people tell me that all the time, and I'm like, you realize I don't know that much more than you.
You can't tell.
I've just kept notes, and I put it in these nice little scripts, and I talk about this stuff, and so it sounds like I really know what I'm talking about, and I do. I make sure I do the research. I make sure everything's accurate.
Right.
It's real important to me, but we're all doing this together at the same time.
Right. Man, that's cool, man. I just enjoy it. I enjoy seeing the journeys of people. Yeah. Yours especially, it's extremely inspirational, because I get it from people all the time, I want to get started. I just don't know where to start. None of us do.
Yeah.
We just do it. Like you said, you went to grab some stuff. You came back with a dozen chickens.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, your story, I feel the same way about yours, because I've been watching you since the beginning, and now you're buying it. Then you got the bigger property, and now you're buying another bigger property.
Yeah.
It's actual farm, and you got more livestock than I do.
Yeah, well, I hope they're happy.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've seen, you're a great steward for your animals.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I try to be. They count on me. They depend on me to whether they're going to live or not. You know what I mean? I take it serious. And it's fun. It's fun, rewarding work, and that's what I get from it. The other stuff that I did, radio, music, all that stuff, it was cool. it was glitzy. You know what I mean? Other people really like it, but this is way more rewarding for me, even though I still enjoy that side a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird. I was always thinking I needed to be a big deal in the world. Like, that was important to me.
Yeah.
And I would try to, I'd buy fancy cars, and we'd go out to these bars, and I would buy the most expensive bourbon just so people could see how big my tab was at the end of the night,
Right.
And now I'm, on the social media, I have all these really super cool people that message me and talk to me.
Yeah.
That I never would have thought people like that would be friends with me.
Yeah.
And it makes me happier to be able to help them grow a tomato than to be able to brag into somebody about everything I have or what I know.
I love that point. And I feel very close to that point because, like, I'll be in a feed store and I'll spark up a conversation with somebody about chickens or about goats now because I just kidded some goats, right? Mm-hmm. And this conversation's with a person I probably would have never spoken to or thought they would have given me the time of day to give me some advice or vice versa. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty cool, man. I love that. So with you just saying that, I want to segue into social media because you're huge on social media. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let you downplay it today because it does all the time. I'm not going to let them downplay it. Over 1 million followers, multiple social media platforms. People love your content. You do spark some very controversial subjects sometimes in a very palatable way, in a very conscious way. You don't make anybody feel bad about what they should be looking at. I'll put it that way. I love your approach. But I will say this. My experience in this social media world, coming from the entertainment world, has been so different. It's been much more helpful. People are a little bit more happy on this side.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, or what's been your experience?
Oh God, so much, man. I mean, it's just like I said this. I was interviewed for this article that got done about me, and they were asking me about it, and they said, "Well, what makes your audience different?" Mm-hmm. And I said, "You can have two people that are sitting at opposite sides of the political spectrum, mm-hmm. and then you start a conversation about compost, and they're mm-hmm. sitting there chatting with each other mm-hmm. and laughing and joking, and they don't realize they're supposed to hate each other for 5 minutes."
Yes.
So
okay.
it's like, I believe these common experiences are so much more powerful. Common interests are so much more powerful than common enemies.
I like that. That makes so much more sense because I can have a conversation that a guy, y'all know I'm black, so I have a conversation with a guy that pulls up with a big beard and a MAGA hat on, and we come from different sides of the political agreement circle or line, right? And we'll have a conversation, very, very nice conversation about raising chickens.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or what pig feed is going to be the best or something like that. And we can sit there and have a conversation. It's like a common ground. It's almost like music. You got two people singing the same song. They might not even speak the language the song is in, but we agree about something.
That's a big part of why I do what I do the way I do it. Mm. And I noticed that early on. I noticed it pretty early on before I even hit big. I could tell that there was something special about this. Yeah. That it's just and at that time we were even more divided. Like, I think we've started to mm-hmm. recognize the misinformation and the division for what it is. Yeah. Which is, it's really empowering the people who want to control us more. Yeah. But by us taking it back and saying, no, we're going to find things we like with each other. Yeah, I like that. No, that's a great point. I think the more that we try to murder that division mm-hmm. with our own platforms, I think that's really important. That's why I really appreciate what you do, because you're doing that. You're making people not only giving them a different perspective, but also telling them to do their own research. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, don't believe me, go look it up and then see if we really need to be arguing about stuff. I call it normalizing kindness. Yeah, I like that. Just normalize kindness. I mean, it's setting an example. You can't fight darkness. Darkness wants you to fight it. Yeah. You can't do that. Then you become darkness. Yeah, that's true. The only way to fight darkness is to embrace the light. There you go. Sounds like a Jedi warrior. It's fine. I'm not. I am like a super nerd. I own a lightsaber. So I also. I do too. And a full-size R2-D2 drinking cup. Oh, come on. I do. I have that. We have those things in common as well.
But man, so let's talk about this too, because social media, with you having such a wide platform, right, and a megaphone on social media, what was that moment that it started building up and you were like, wow, I'm really becoming a social media creator?
It happened overnight, like almost literally overnight. So since 2021, when we bought the farm, until almost the very end of 2023, it was like December. I had spent years trying to build it up, and I did all these voiceovers. It was all about vanity and ego. Yeah. And I was going to make people laugh, and I was going to become famous, and that's what I wanted. Yeah. And then in 2023, my wife said, you have to stop drinking. She said, you're a drunk, and you are angry when you're drunk, and you're not helping yourself, and it's not making your life better. She says, you have to stop drinking. And I said, yeah, she's right. And so I did. And then you look at your content, you look at what you're doing, you see it through a different lens. Yeah. You know, and I looked at everything I do, and I was like, this is trash. Like, I'm not doing anything for anybody. But then you look in my comments, and the people in my community are just helping me and helping each other and giving each other advice. And like they're doing it for nothing. They get nothing in return. And so I looked at that and I said, what would they do if they had 25,000 followers? And I said, they would probably do something nice for people, and they would do something good with it and something useful. And so I said, okay, here it is. I'm giving myself 30 days. I'm going to use my own voice. I'm going to stop the dumb voiceovers. I'm going to stop trying to make people laugh, and I'm just going to speak from my heart about things that I think that matter, like division, and about us coming together, and about, you know, using positivity and growing stuff. And I said, if people stop following me, I said, I'll quit. You know, like 30 days. If people stop following me, if people leave my channel, I'll quit, and I'll focus on other things. Right. And in 30 days, I gained 50,000 more followers. That's crazy, just being yourself. Yeah, 25,000 to 75,000. I've been doing it for years. I was lucky to gain 1,000 followers in a month. Right. That was a big month for me. And instead, I gained 50,000 in 1 month. And then the next month, I gained 75,000. The month after that, I gained over 100,000. Yeah. And then by the end of the year, I was over 1 million probably by the end of last year. Wow, that's amazing, bro. Yeah, that was that moment was when I stopped trying to be funny or stopped trying to be interesting or stopped trying to get famous, and I started just focusing on doing good for other people. Yeah, that's incredible, man, and that goes to show that it is a market for people actually trying to do something positive. I think it's more than that. I think people are hungry for goodness. Like, we're all sick of it. We're all sick of, like, people being ugly to each other. Yeah. We just want love again. Like, we want people to love each other again and care about each other. Like, you know, my biggest post is that 6 pillars of homesteading. I gained, I think, 250,000 followers off that one post. Yeah. And at the end of the post, I say, help the people that care about you and the ones that don't. And it's like, I got so many comments from people who would just quote that one line, and that was their whole comment. Yeah. Because it hit them so hard. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it hits me hard just hearing it. I've heard it a lot of times. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's dope, man. It's really refreshing. I hope people take that away. If anything else from this podcast, I hope they take that away. Yeah. That one line right there. And he copyrights everything, so don't try to steal it. That's right. That's right, TM. That's it, man. That's cool. So let's talk about getting into this whole homesteading journey, right? You buy the farm. Yep. What jolted you to buy the farm in the first place? Well, ironically, it was being a drunk. Okay. So we would sit on the back porch. Me and she was my girlfriend at the time. She wasn't my wife yet. She was my girlfriend at the time. And I had moved into her house because it was COVID. And so I got rid of my townhouse. We moved into her place, which is a whole other interesting story. But so we'd sit out back at night on the back porch, and we would drink beer and sit and chat and just being drunk. To like, we should buy a farm. I tell you, it would solve everything if we just bought a farm. Don't have to worry about nothing. Yeah, well, grow food. Yeah, I'd be essential. Yeah, you know? That's it. And so I started a garden out there, and it was like I grew a tomato, and I ate that tomato. I was like, that is a delicious tomato. That was your old cluck moment. Yeah, that tomato changed your life. Yeah, it really did. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So it was the best tomato you've ever had in your life. It really was. And that garden was sad. I had these 1 gallon or 1 pound or whatever, 1 cubic foot bags of dirt and I put 3 tomato plants in there and try to frame them all in. And then I'd overwater them every single day so they all had root rot. And I was like, what is this disease thing on there? And my wife knows better than I do. She's like, yeah, that's fungus. I was like, oh, we'll just clip that off. It's all right.
It's all right. Just peel it off.
It's still growing tomatoes. That's all that matters. It's fine. It's fine. It's happy.
Oh man! So a moment in drunk history brings you to the idea of the farm. At what point did it become serious?
2020 we were talking about it, and then we knew that she had to. My wife's a doctor, and so she was finishing her residency, and we needed to look to move before she would take up her first permanent position.
Right.
And so when we were looking, she was like, "Well, what do you think about South Carolina?" I said, "I don't really have an opinion."
Yeah.
She says, well, one of the areas, so she had big student loans. You're a doctor, you get big student loans. Yeah. And one of the ways to pay off your student loans is by working in areas that are underserved, like rural communities.
Right.
And so it was an option on the table. Like, we can move to this rural community. And we could have just bought a regular house, but I was like, no, we were talking about buying a farm. Let's just do this.
Might as well. And then you're in a rural community, which it comes with its own perks if you go certain routes.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, I've never been happier. The smaller town I move to, the happier I get.
Wow. Say it again for the people in the back.
The smaller town I moved to, the happier I get. I grew up in Chicago. I lived in San Francisco. I lived in Las Vegas. And just before this, I was in Charlotte. And, it's like Charlotte was a smaller town than Vegas was a smaller place than San Francisco was smaller than Chicago. And it's like, now I'm in a county with 16,000 people.
Wow. Yeah. I'm at 17,000 where I am now.
Oh, yeah. You guys are big town.
Yeah.
but you guys got a Walmart, huh?
I think we do.
That's fancy. we don't got that.
You don't got a Walmart?
No. We got a Wendy's.
There you go. Well, there you go. Something.
Yeah. But, I'm just so happy in the small town area.
Yeah, it's funny how perspectives will change what happiness is, right?
Oh my God, so much.
Wow.
What makes you happy?
Seeing these animals, having these conversations, learning, and then teaching people things that I've learned.
Yeah.
In this space, especially. Like I literally told somebody asked me about building a studio space because I've had several studios, right? And I told them everything he needed. That made me kind of happy. But I got so much more joy telling this young lady what to put in her chicken brooder. She had ducklings. And I was like, hey, if you get a paint tray, put the water over the paint tray. So when they splash, it goes in the paint tray, then you won't ruin your bedding every day. And she was like, oh my God, that is a great idea. I said, I got it from somebody else, and now you have it.
That is a great idea. And I have ducks right now, and I change out the bedding every day.
No, you put a paint tray in there, and sometimes it's gaps. So I just put a little Gorilla tape on the gap so they won't get the little, the little feet, because they have the little nails on the little feet, right?
Yeah.
And just put a paint tray and then put the water on top of the paint tray.
I'm about to build them they're big enough now. They're about to get their own duck hutch.
Okay.
There's gonna be a whole new YouTube series.
I can't wait. Duck it, do it.
Well, it's not just about the ducks. It's gonna be all long form content. So it's like new. I do shorts. I'm the king of shorts.
Yeah, you are.
My 60-second video is like
they go platinum every time.
I tell you what, it's so hard to script it down to 60 seconds. And people are always like, you forgot this. I was like, I didn't forget it. It's 60 seconds.
It's like, so much I can do. Yeah. And it's no dead space.
Yeah.
It's like boom, boom, boom. Every frame has meaning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're talking through every frame. I think I called you one time. I was like, how the hell did you do that? Because I was like, bro, how do you keep pace and don't forget going from this scene to that scene? I know the camera's moving. It looks like a Steven Spielberg produced picture. I love it, man. But yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait to see that.
You know what's crazy is it takes me 3 to 4 hours to script it because I practice the script over and over.
Yeah.
I read it out loud over and over. That's why it's so clear when I get to the garden and stuff. Is like I've already read it 50, 60 times out loud.
Right.
And I've this word sounds wrong. It doesn't flow. I'm going to change this word. Let me get my thesaurus and find something that's a better fit for this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like the long stuff is going to be, I think, a lot better, and it's going to be more concise. And the first series I'm doing is I have no idea how to build blank.
Okay.
So it's all kinds of stuff I don't know how to do. Like I have no idea how to build a duck hutch. I have no idea. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to put a paint tray down underwater.
But you know now.
I do now.
And, but the thing is that you say that, and I believe you think it's true, but you've built other things.
Yeah.
So I know you'll figure it out, and you're gonna know what to do.
Well, that's the video. The video is me doing the whole process of how I figure stuff out, so people can see it. It's gonna be me researching on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's gonna be me looking up ideas. It's gonna be me coming up with a plan. Me going to the store to get whatever I need, and I'm gonna set a budget for these things. Like it's gonna be like. It'll be like, I'm going to build a duck hutch and it's going to cost me $100, or I can spend $100 or anything I find on my property.
There you go. I like that. I can't wait to watch those series. Yeah. I just built a dog kennel like that.
Nice.
I watched the YouTube. I was like, so I went and saw dog runs, and they were like $6,000-$7,000 for a 3-bay run, right? I got those big Great Pyrenees. I got the German Shepherd who's getting older, and I'm like, I wanted something nice for him. It was a lean-to on our barn, but it was enclosed. I said, we could turn this into a kennel run with retriever kennels I already had, and we did.
You know, that's where my chicken coop came from, right?
That's crazy. I
Same
didn't know
thing.
that.
On this, it was an add-on shed side on the side of my pole barn.
Yeah, so same. Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a lean-to was until I
just
figured it out. Yeah, because it's a guy at our property that knows all the terms.
Yeah.
He was like, it's lean-to. And I said, oh, what? He said, it's a lean-to. And I said, okay, I get it. It leans to me. Yeah. Right? I said, all right, I'm going to turn this lean-to into a dog kennel. And that's what happened. We got it done.
Yep.
With weight mats that are stall mats now. And a little ingenuity.
How hot's it get out there for him?
It gets pretty warm, but it has so much shade that it's cooler in the rear, like under it. So we have a run out. So what I learned with the my rabitat, we made a rabitat, right? It would rain in there, and then it would get soggy. So I figured if I just left a small portion that is not shaded, right, the sun can hit it and it'll dry out faster, and that's what's been happening.
Nice.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, it worked. So I was like, wow, mistakes are making the things that we're doing now better.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the number one thing. It's like, so I built that chicken coop when I first built it. I said I put like $3-4 grand into it. I spent way too much money. Yeah. And then down the road, I knew all the things that I'd done wrong. So like I built in doors that I could shovel straight out the side of the lean-to, which apparently is what it's called.
Right, apparently. Right.
I built doors, and I built doors into the back of my chicken coops later, or my egg.
Egg boxes, yeah.
So I can get right to the egg boxes from inside the coop without walking through chicken poop.
Yeah, that's it.
So like the kids can run out there in their pajamas in the morning and gather eggs.
Yep.
And that's all that stuff. Like they were all cheap, small fixes that I did that made it so much better.
Yeah, I'm doing the same now because obviously I'm moving in a temporary spot to where I'm building things and making sure that I don't build them in the wrong spot. So we got like dog kennel now, a 40 by 20 or 10 or 15 dog kennel that we've turned into a chicken run right now. And I've got like egg boxes in there and stuff like that, right? And I was like, you know what? Let me put one of the kennel doors on the side so I can get in here fast and change the water and the food. Let me put this in the front. We were trying to figure out how to make a makeshift roof on the back. I was like, I'm just gonna buy another gate, lay the gate on the top, use the kennel, the little pieces that hold the kennel together, and just lay the gate on the top like a roof, and then run 10 on top of that. And I didn't have to buy any wood or anything.
Yeah, good.
All right, and it was like quick and easy.
I try to do as much. I have a. Do you have a room of doom yet?
Not yet. It's coming though.
I already know.
Exactly. I've seen you in yours. I know you got like saws and clamps and all types of stuff.
Oh man, it's even like it's so much in there now. Like it's just like I've talked to my wife about just getting a dumpster and just cleaning that room, because I've So I had this bad habit. If I see a broken TV on the side of the road, I'll stop and grab it because I know how to fix them. Okay. So I fix TVs like crazy, and I just give them away to people. Yeah.
That's crazy. How did you learn how to fix TVs?
I was poor.
Hey, that's how I learned how to make radio commercials. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I was like, y'all pay me how much? Oh, I'm about to learn how to do this.
Yeah, I was poor. I was watching TV on like a little 30-inch screen or something like that, and I'm driving down the road, and there's this 45, 50-inch huge TV on the side of the road, and I said, I'm going to take that. Yeah. I took it. I got it home. The screen was fine. I ended up watching some internet videos, and
Boom.
Bought a $30 part on eBay, and at the time it was expensive too.
They still are. I mean, anything over $500 to me, I don't care how many millions I have, is expensive. So if I can get something for free, put $30 into it, and now it's, come on, bro, that's perfect.
I still own those TVs. My whole house is all TVs.
Yeah, all TVs from side of the road TVs.
Yeah, road TVs. Just good.
I love road TVs. That's cool. Well, being broke could definitely teach you some things. It's either gonna make you or break you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what's up, man. Bro, we got a lot in common. A lot in common. That's crazy. That's how I got my dealer's license, my car dealer's license.
Is that right?
Being broke.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being broke and having high insurance. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. You mean to tell me I can get 4 cars insured for the same price as 1 car be insured? I'm getting my dealer's license. That's what happens. That's crazy, man. Wow. All right, so let me get back on task. My ADHD takes over. So you get this farm, and at what point do you start being a farmer or you start farming?
So I don't know that I've ever really would call myself a farmer more than a homesteader.
Okay, homesteading.
Yeah.
Let's politically, or I guess verbally correct.
I would put it as like the first time I started profiting and making money was off the chickens.
Okay.
So I was my big plan before I knew what I was doing was to sell eggs, and then I spent $3,000-$4,000 in the coop, and I was like, all right, let's do the math here.
Yeah.
Carry the one
dozen is $3.
Six. It'll take me 67 years to pay off the chicken coop by selling eggs.
$3,000 coop.
Yeah. I was like, okay, well that's not effective. So I ended up finding for cheap. We found these rare birds like the Iamsomanis, the ones I sent you.
Yeah.
And I saw that Purina commercial where he talked about. It's like, well, you got the Iamsomanis in there, or what was his name, Doctor?
Dr. Biggs.
Yeah,
Dr.
so he
Biggs,
came out. It was good. That was a good.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
I like that one. But he's like, they're not really, they're fancy.
They're fancy.
I sell the eggs, the fertilized eggs. And so I started selling fertilized eggs for exotic birds on eBay.
See, there you go. And that's thinking outside of the shell.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's because I went looking for how do I get more of these birds, because I had 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I found somebody that was selling the eggs, and I was like, they're selling these eggs for $100.
Yeah.
And then the live breeding pairs of Iamsomanis.
They can go up to $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah.
Or higher.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah.
So I was like, that's a pretty good income stream.
Yeah.
So, I tell people, if you want to be a homesteader and have a profitable homestead, you're not going to do it doing one thing.
No.
It's like a bundle of side hustles.
Yeah. And that's what kind of ours is going, agro-tourism. So
Yeah.
I definitely appreciate where you come from with that. So you made some money selling fertilized eggs, the Ninja Chickenz eggs. So because they're all black, for those who might not be familiar. But you get into this homesteading space, right? And now you're pushing it. Like you're pushing it to other people to be more self-sufficient. Was that the point of that?
At the beginning, no. At the beginning, I just wanted to be famous.
Yeah.
And I was out on a farm, and I just wanted to. I figured I'll get famous on social media.
Yeah.
And I have something interesting to show people, and I'll do that, and then I'll be a big deal, and people will think I'm important. And that was my goal. And then somewhere along the way, that all changed, and it was more about helping people and being a good person. And I mean, I don't even know. Like, now I push it out to people because I see the benefit. I didn't even know how much was wrong with me until I got away from needing to be
validated.
Yeah, because your chickens don't care.
At all.
They don't care what kind of shoes you have or what kind of car you drive, what kind of, and neither do most people in a small town, and neither do most people in this community. They don't care. So it's like, it changes your way of thinking, and it gives you. It's like, you have more balance.
Yeah.
You have more balance.
Yeah, I like that, man. I love the shift in mind frame, in this space, because like you said, they don't care. They don't care what you're wearing unless it's functional. They go, oh, how many pockets is on those pants? Where can I get some? Yeah. That's where you keep your eggs when you're walking around? How do I get one of those? Yeah. Like, I probably got more comments on an egg apron I've worn than a newer pair of sneakers. Unless they're asking me, why did you wear those sneakers in that coop? You know, you're going to get chicken poop on them.
Did you have one of the Rue aprons?
Yeah.
Those things are great.
Those are really awesome. And then Purina gave me a cool one too. So yeah. Nice. That's pretty cool, man. What was the funnest thing you've grown so far?
Funnest thing I've grown, I think, was corn.
Okay, talk to me about it, because I want to grow corn.
Yeah, so I learned that there's a couple different ways to grow corn, and you think of corn like just grow it in rows. But if you're not doing a big enough area, you can't just do a row of corn or it won't pollinate. You got to grow them in squares.
Okay.
And then an even better way is the Three Sisters method.
Okay, I've never heard of this. This is an exclusive. So if you're listening to this 30 minutes into the interview, the Three Sisters method.
Well, it's. I wish it was my thing, but it goes back to the Native Americans.
Okay.
So they grew the Three Sisters, which was you do a mound, you grow the corn in like a spiral, going up the mound, and then you also plant it with squash and beans. Okay. And so the beans, pole beans, not bush beans, the pole beans climb the corn and they stabilize it. Oh. And they use the corn as a trellis. Okay. So you don't need a trellis. Yeah. And then you grow squash around the bottom, like crookneck squash or butternut squash. Yeah. And the leaves are prickly.
So it keeps things out. Yeah. Whoa, that, my friends, is homesteading.
Yeah, and the beans are a nitrogen producer, so they're fixing the soil back. For the corn, that's a huge nitrogen absorber.
Okay, so everybody's symbiotic.
Symbiotic, man.
That's so dope.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna use that method. You're gonna have circles of Three Sisters all around the property.
It'd be great. But the favorite part for me was I grew this stained glass corn, and it's so pretty. But then also you can make popcorn out of it.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I get to make my own popcorn.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. I was watching a TikTok video about different corn, and somebody was like, "Yeah, this is the white corn, this is sweet corn, and this is," and I was like, "I didn't know it was that many corns."
There's so many.
That's cool, man. I can't wait to see those videos.
Oh yeah. The thing is that like industrialized agriculture has taken so much of the variety out of our crops and killed off so much of the biodiversity. Like 95% of wheat is simple wheat. Like that's 95% of our crop, and we've grown it so homogenously. I mean, there used to be thousands of varieties of crops, like of wheat. Every area had different, that had its own resistances and temperatures, and it had more nutrients, and it was better for you. Yeah. And this isn't the best wheat in the world. It's just the most it can grow in the most places. Yeah. But we've narrowed it down to where like if a single disease gets to that wheat, it's a keystone crop. If a single disease comes out and it doesn't have resistances to it, it can wipe out wheat worldwide. Wow. And billions of people would die.
Because there's no variety.
Because there's no variety.
Wow. And that makes so much sense. When I was talking to my granddad before he passed, right, he was telling me, I used to eat this, and this. I've been healthy my whole life. And now things upset my stomach. And I'm like, it's because the food is not the food you ate. It's a different food. It's different quality. It's different things in it. You know what I mean? I know that has a lot to do with why there's so many health issues out here. And that's why I'm so excited when you're, getting people to grow. Here we grow. It's like on your shirt. You're getting people to grow things because you start to learn what you're talking about now. You get that biodiversity. You get the different nutrients, the different types of wheat, the different types of corn. We didn't know about it.
That's the best part about researching these videos is that I learned so much stuff that doesn't even make it in the videos. Yeah. Because I just read a ton. Yeah. But I actually was talking to a doctor recently about this, and he was talking about how a lot of our inflammation and stuff is being caused by the lack of biodiversity. Yeah. And there was this I can't remember the name of it, but they basically found a body in a bog, and it was so well preserved they thought it was like somebody who had been murdered or something. Turns out it was a guy from I don't know 10,000-20,000 years ago. It was a prehistoric man or whatever. And they found in his stomach like 39 different kinds of grains. Wow. From one meal that he had. And they were like, well, this led to them being more diverse. They didn't have gluten intolerances and all this stuff. Right. Because they could handle it, because they had so much diversity in their diet. Yeah. And our diet is so homogenous. That's why we've seen the rise of gluten deficiencies and dairy deficiencies. Like I could go on for days.
No, I got you. I was telling my best friend who's a lawyer. She has a gluten allergy. I make fun of her. I say, you have glutidia. But she has a gluten allergy. And I was like, you need to go to Europe and eat bread so you can eat bread. Because I was like, it's a different type of wheat and stuff like that. They're using different things. They're actually probably using actual grains.
Oh, you know what it is?
Talk to me.
It's not even just the actual grains. Like, they do all this stuff. I just saw a post about this. I can't even take credit for it. But I watched this post, and it was fascinating because the guy talks about, well, they irradiate it to get rid of this, and then they bleach it, which breaks down this structure. And, like, all the stuff that they do to process our wheat and make our grains and make our flours destroys all the nutritional value in it. And actually, they add all these additives and stuff that they put into it to make it more palatable and make it last longer on a shelf. That's actually some of the reasons that we have so many of these issues like digesting it now.
That makes so much sense. We're not supposed to eat bleach, and it has to be something left over.
I heard that also. You're not supposed to eat bleach.
Yeah,
that does make sense.
It does make sense, right? It's so crazy. It's so simple, but it's so true.
You hear it, and you're like, that does make. I get it.
Right, man. I'm like, okay, you make a GMO stalk of corn, right? You make a crop, a GMO corn, and it's great because these bugs won't eat it. They won't eat the corn, so the corn doesn't get attacked by pests. If the pests won't eat it, why should I eat it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to figure. I don't understand how nobody thinks that way. Like, the pests don't eat it. Why should I?
You're like, this bug will land on a pile of cow dung, and he's happy with that. But he sees this corn, he's like, no.
Oh no, I'm not touching that. Like my goat will eat a lot of things.
Yeah.
He will not eat a Ritz cracker. He won't touch it. He sniffs it and he goes. He won't touch it. So now I won't touch it.
That's smart.
It is, man. So wow. Talk to me about, because I know you said it. I have more animals than you. But what is your dream animal? Like, you can get anything over there. What would it be? I know you got chickens.
Now we got ducks.
You got ducks.
We are getting next is I grow my animals slowly because I believe stewardship of your animals is so important. So until I'm ready to handle an animal, until I've done the research, I won't get them.
Yeah.
Because I made the mistake once with chickens.
We won't talk about that.
It worked out in the end. But coonies, the pigs.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I love those.
I have a forest. I want to clear it, and so I have a buddy. He has coonies, and so he's going to sell me some, and I'm pretty excited about it.
That's cool.
But I have to get the fence system set up. But they're going to clear my forest for me.
Yeah. Are you going to get the movable electric fences?
I think so. I think so. I'm still not 100%. I've talked to a couple more people. I've considered just fencing in the entire forest area because there's plenty of the space.
Oh, and just let them go ahead and just go crazy.
Yeah, just go nuts.
That's cool. That's cool.
But then I would also be keeping out the deer and the other life, so I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah, I understand. So yeah, I've seen people do it with those electric fences. That's why I asked them move it, piece by piece, and let them clear out piece by piece. They root everything. They eat everything. And then they also fertilize as they move. So then if you were going to plant in that area, then you can go ahead and keep it going. I saw a guy, no lie, he's like, this is where I tried to grow squash and pumpkins. This is where I tried to, and it was just dead, everything. This is where the pigs cleared out, and squash and pumpkins are just growing now because they were eating seeds and pooping, and then the stuff just started growing like crazy. So he was like, I'm just letting them plant everything. So it's pretty cool.
Tomatoes apparently work really well that way. Okay. Because the acid in their stomach won't break down the tomato seeds.
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
So those are grow. You get a lot of volunteers.
A lot of but, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly the theory is I want to work them through my forest and then set up a food forest.
Okay.
Just start planting a bunch of stuff. Put like the sun chokes, the sun artichokes out there. They grow pretty flowers and stuff. But then there's the tuber underground that's very edible. It lasts a long time and it grows like crazy. Nut trees and fruit trees and passion fruit plants. Okay. So just create a garden of food out there in the forest.
Right. That makes sense. I mean, sustainability at its finest.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have to work at it. It takes care of itself. I'm like, all right, cool.
That's it.
Sounds good.
That's pretty cool. And pigs are super cool. I have a couple pigs now. Super trainable creatures.
Well, they're so smart.
They are so smarter than dolphins. They're great. I've trained one to hit a button when she wants treats. I have to now take the button because she is a glutton. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool, man. So I can't wait to see your journey on that. I don't have a lot of pig information, but I learn on the go. Yeah. So if you need anything, call me, brother.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will.
That's pretty cool, man. What is your dream about the homesteading space? Like if it's all said and done, you had to give somebody a quick liner of what you want out of this.
I want everybody to take back a little piece of our food sovereignty. Because the Green Revolution was this amazing thing that happened and provided food for so many people, and we needed it at the time. Yeah. The billions of people would have starved without the Green Revolution. But now we've gotten past that, and it's time to stop corporatizing food. Because what was a good idea turned into a great profit margin. Yeah. And now we need to take that back a little bit and say, okay, well, thank you so much for all the things that people you fed, but now we need to decentralize this system because we've taken it too far in the other direction.
Yeah.
And we need to do it by, if I could have one thing come out of this space, would be for more people to create their own self-sufficiency in food so we could take back a little bit more control of our food system.
That's dope. I like that. I think, like you said, this went too far, trying to monetize it, and now we've taken the quality out of it.
Yeah.
And it's hurting people.
Yeah.
On a wide scale, so I can appreciate that sentiment. Speaking of you wanting to help people and get to a good space, tell me about the foundation. How did that come about? Tell me about the stuff that's going on in Asheville, and then tell me about where you would like to see it going.
Well, in June of 2024, I put out a post, and I said, I had this crazy dream that I could feed people in the world by building community homesteads. And I was like, I'd love to make that happen. And I think I said something in the post like, people have already told me that this is impossible, but luckily, I like doing the impossible.
Yeah.
And so 2 months later, we launched it. We launched it as a nonprofit. We got our 501c3. We launched the Greenhorn Guides, it's a totally free website that provides ebooks and e-learning information, and we're actually going to be expanding upon that this year. That turned into, we're going to be building community homesteads and care farms.
That's awesome.
Like we're planning on buying 45-acre farms where people were the victims of domestic violence or PTSD for veterans, or kids with special needs can come and experience ecotherapy firsthand and work with their hands in the dirt. Patients with dementia can come work there, and it actually slows the progress of the disease.
Yes, it does. I read that too.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And so we want to build these places. And then in October of last year, Hurricane Helene came through and just did so much damage in western North Carolina. And a friend of mine, Sean Hendricks, he used to work for Mr. Beast. Now he's on with Barbarian Foundation. But he and some friends got together and started Operation Shelter, which was helping provide homes and stuff for people, getting them tents and Starlinks. And I talked to Sean. I said, I've got a charity. You've got this initiative. I said, let's merge the two. Yeah. So Sean brought Operation Shelter into Here We Grow, and we kind of took over the getting insurance and all the, I spent a lot of time doing office work, essentially, which was super fun. I love that.
Right. Not being in the garden, I got to go out and do office work. Go back inside, but it's helping people. So
it is. But we've done so much. I mean, now we're part of a coalition that we just helped build a volunteer camp for 150 people.
Amazing.
We spent $50,000 putting water into it to give all these guys hot showers at the end of their day of working, and we're building 300 homes for people.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing, and this all started from just some silly post.
Right.
And obviously Sean's hard work and those guys' hard work with Operation Shelter starting that, and we've merged it and married it, and now it's just growing and growing and growing.
Right. Here we grow. I like it, man.
Here we grow.
How do people support those causes?
You can go to thegrowsquad.org.
Okay, the Grow Squad. I like it. Yeah. You know what I really like? That encompasses what this stuff is all about. What I see so much helping in community. Two people who have two totally separate things, right? Both independent, both successful, but say, let's get together and make it bigger. Yeah. And partnership is the key, and that's what co-oping is really a big thing in this space, and I see why. Yeah.
That's how Sean found me initially. His wife was a fan of my homesteading page.
That's cool. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. Because usually somebody's wife's a fan, he's not going to like you. But that's cool, man. That is really dope. That's cool. What is the three of the most interesting things that you've learned recently?
Oh my gosh. That is a tough question, because I learn crazy stuff all the time. I think one of them is that originally they thought tomatoes were poisonous. Yeah. Because they were eating them off of pewter plates, like the rich people in the 1700s and 1600s. They were eating them off of pewter plates. Tomatoes are acidic, and so the acid in the tomatoes was leaching lead from the pewter plates, and so the people were getting lead poisoning, and they blamed tomatoes. I was like, that's crazy. That is. And then it was the Italian peasants who were like, they didn't have any pewter plates. They're poor. They're peasants. Right. They're like, no, you're stupid. This is so good. Beautiful pasta. You love this.
I love it.
Yeah. I'm Italian, so I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. I can't. Yeah. Made him an offer he can't refuse.
That's pretty good, though. That's all right. It's a pretty good Brando.
All right. So give me number two.
Number two. Man, I don't even know.
Well, give me. All right, so let's do this. I steal stuff all the time. Like I said, I stole the paint tray situation with the ducks, right?
Yeah.
And it worked, and I passed it along. So what's one thing you've stolen lately that's worked for you?
Oh, DIY Oyas.
Okay.
Oyas are these terracotta pots that people bury in the ground, and they put water in them. It's like been using for thousands of years. And so I did this. I bought these. They're like $50. Like they're not cheap. You can buy the real ones. And I bought them. And I did a video about it to talk about it. People were like, "No, you can just make that with like a terracotta pot. And you put a cork in the bottom, and you're done." I was like, "Oh, that's great!" So for like $15, so the next video I made was, "Hey, guess what?"
Right. So throw $35 out the window, get $15 pot and a cork.
And the DIY Oya one, that video was huge. Everyone didn't like the Oya video, and they saw the DIY Oya where I was like, "Hey, I'm an idiot."
I mean, but that's transparency. I think that's what makes you, right? You're genuinely transparent and not afraid to say, "Hey, I didn't do that right."
Oh yeah, I mean, I do it all the time.
Yeah, and I think it makes people more confident in their ability to mess up to do something right.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so important. I mean, failure is not a failure unless you stop trying.
Yeah, I like that. He's probably copywritten that one too.
Yeah.
Cool, man. What was the, I guess, most rewarding thing you've grown?
That tomato.
Okay, that's the first tomato. You know, that's fitting because you're Italian.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
It didn't give you lead poisoning or nothing.
It's because I don't use pewter plates.
There you go.
Some rich, fancy guy with a pewter plate. Nah.
Cool.
No, I mean that tomato was, but I mean I think some of the biggest rewards have come along the way just from things that I wasn't good at growing. You know, I wasn't good at growing this when I first started. It took me 3, 4, 5 tries.
Yeah.
I tried garlic like 3 years in a row.
Okay.
Didn't get it right. It's
because you're a vampire.
That's right.
It makes sense.
I do spend a lot of time up late at night. People are like, yeah, how do you get up in the morning? I'm like, no, I'm just still up.
Morning.
It's fine.
I'm still up. It's last night for me.
I spend all night working on scripts, and then I just wander out and feed the chickens, and I go to bed like a normal person.
Right.
Isn't that what you do? Just climb in my coffin.
That's it. So garlic is it.
Yeah.
Garlic was it.
It was great because, like, you know, you try twice and you don't get it, and the third time you do it, and it's like, yes,
that's
now
it.
I understand. Now I know how to do this.
And it can't be taken away.
No, it can't be.
Yeah.
It's like the roof. You know what the roof stout method is?
No, talk to me.
Super cool, man. So like when I first had the gardens, I was putting plastic down over everything.
Yeah.
You know, I'd do the plastic, dig the holes. I thought it was great because the first year I did it, no plastic, weeds everywhere, tons of work. And I figured out, okay, you can use plastic. So you put the plastic down, and then everybody in my comments was like, "You shouldn't use plastic. You're gonna eat microplastics." And
Yeah.
I was like, that can't be true. And I looked it up, and I was like, well, I'll be golly.
That is true.
Okay, so I don't want to be made of plastic. I'll look at the next thing. And this lady roof stout was this lady who just threw a bunch of, she's like, I just planted, I throw a bunch of straw over the top of it, and I'm done. And I was like, this can't work.
I did see that video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's I gotta tell you, I've done it this year for like the first time, and I just put it over everything, and like I have almost no weeds.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's nuts. And the soil underneath, it stays so moist.
Yeah.
Because it keeps the sun from hitting the soil. It's not heating it up. It's got a lot of angles. It breaks it up.
It's almost like a house for it.
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It's like this. I dig up underneath it, and then the straw is breaking down slowly too. So that's just adding more organic matter into my soil. It's just, it's beautiful. Like
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it because I'm thinking about trees, and I'm like, I was telling my neighbor, I was like, I was trying to get in your business, but you should rake all the leaves around the tree. Don't bag them because those leaves are falling and refeed the tree. Right? And they had a fruit tree. I was like, it's refeeding the tree. Now it's talking about straw. That makes sense because it breaks down.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, leaves do the same thing essentially. I mean, although I did see a cool one about protecting your trees lately, especially your fruit trees.
Okay.
You got any pine cones on your property?
Yes.
Okay, if you pile up pine cones around the base of the tree, it keeps like rodents and stuff from climbing the tree because they don't want to walk across the spiky pine cones.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh, I need that. And I've got, I don't know what they're called. You know the little spiky ball things from the, what are they called? Sweet gum trees.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that with those too because I got tons of those.
Oh, yeah, you won't run out of those.
No, not at all. And I got one pear tree on the property I'm trying to save.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We got pear trees. I tell you what, once you get that thing going, we produce so many pairs, we don't know what to do with it all.
Wow, I got those pigs. We'll love them once you get them.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I'll send you V's recipe for pear butter.
Perfect. I need it.
You make it in a crock pot. It's like cinnamon pear butter. It's so good. It's like spiced pear butters. I put it on sandwiches all year long.
That's cool, man. Yeah. I do love how, I'm gonna say how emotionally and lovingly connected you talk about your family, right? Because we talk outside of this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And on social media, you keep it separate. I understand why, because I would do the same thing because people are nuts.
Yeah.
But how is it? And I've noticed, like, all my neighbors, because now my neighbors are farmers or they have a lot of land. I see those relationships are long-lasting relationships. Mm-hmm. Has this space helped with that?
Sometimes yes, and sometimes no. I mean, it's a lot more work.
Yeah.
My wife is just now about to start her own practice.
Okay.
Which is going to allow her to work from home more.
Yeah.
And we're so excited about that because she can be around more. She can be around the property and the kids more.
Yeah.
But for a long time there, she'd come home from a long day at work.
Yeah.
And it's like she doesn't want to do anything.
She's drained. And then she's dealing with a lot. As a physician, you're dealing with a lot of people's
psychiatrist.
Problems. Too many people's problems.
Yeah. I mean,
wow.
I don't want to like trauma dump on people, but like what she has to deal with like just the doing therapy for kids and stuff, and she can't even tell me about any of it.
Yeah.
But like she'll mention I had a child patient today. It was very difficult on me.
Yeah.
And you can see how much this stuff eats at her.
Yeah.
And she has to carry that with her. And the other thing is she's the smartest person I've ever met in my life. She is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
And so she sees the world in a way that I'll never see it. Mm. And she knows a lot of things that I don't know. Yeah. And she has a perspective of, she sees the worst people go through. Yeah. And so it's so hard on her. So this is gonna give her more air and more space.
That's cool. And yeah. I'm sure just sometimes being able to come out on some acreage and being connected to nature can help too with mental space. Because it helped me. I know it helped me with my mental health, just being outside.
Yeah, and now she's gonna be able to enjoy it the right way. Yeah. Now for the boys, because we have they're from her first marriage, but my twin boys, I've been raising them since they were 2. Right. And they are. God, they're such great kids. Yeah. They're twins, but they're total opposites. Yeah. But I mean, just getting to spend time with them every day and be around them all the time, it's so special. Yeah. You know, it's so special and so great. Like, and you know, being on social media, everyone thinks that's such a big deal, but my kids don't see that. Yeah. You know,
they just know you. You're a big deal to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're their hero.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Yeah, no, I can tell. Yeah. I can tell.
And we were out at the store one day, and this lady recognized me, and she goes, "Are you him? Are you Greenhorn Grove?" And I said, "Yeah, that's me." Hi. And then she was talking. She's very excited to meet me, and she leans down to one of the boys, and she goes, "Dude, you know what your daddy does?" And he said, "My daddy helps people." Yeah. And I was like,
"That's it. That's it. That's why I say you're their hero. That's it."
I was like, "Oh, God." It's still my beating heart.
I mean, clutches pearls.
I mean, it was just so good. Man, to hear that from your kid, like that's how your kid sees you in the world. My dad's a guy who helps people.
That's awesome, man.
And he wouldn't have seen that guy 5 years ago.
Yeah, but all this came from a drunk conversation and one tomato.
Yeah, drunk conversation, one tomato.
And now you're sober and you grow garlic.
And that's the name of our upcoming podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Drunk conversation and one tomato. I love it. E-Series coming out. That's cool, man. We almost hit that hour mark, man. I appreciate you, man. All the way from South Carolina. We enjoyed a great concert last night. Yep. Mary Cutter, I would have not known of her artistry until you told me.
Man, she has a good time up there on stage. She's a great crew. You know the guy with the hat on stage?
Okay, yeah.
James. His name is James. Uh-huh. So James played for Mr. Bungle. That was Tom Patton or Mike Patton with Faith No More. Okay. And they started Mr. Bungle. He was in Mr. Bungle. So I was like, oh, I used to listen to them. Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
That is crazy, man. And that's another thing like I enjoy about this space, meeting new people, getting in different areas. Yeah. I'd never been to a rock country concert before yesterday, and I went, I was like, hey, I'm the only black guy here. Oh no, the sound guy's black. But it was cool, man. It was real fun. It was a great experience, meet some new people, and I had a good time, and I appreciate that invite, man.
Yeah, for sure. We've been talking about getting together for so long. And I like to support, I'd like to use my platform to try to uplift people whenever I can. And so Mary was out. It's her first headlining show. So I wanted to come and show that I was going to support her for that.
Yeah.
Because it was an important moment for her.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great moment. It was a sold out show.
Yeah.
Glad I could come.
Yeah, it was definitely sold out. It felt sold out.
Yeah, it did. It was definitely sold out. Coming and going, man. I appreciate you, man. For the 17 people that aren't following you, where's your Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all that?
Greenhorn Grove, everywhere, all one word, Greenhorn Grove, because we have no idea what we're doing.
How did you come up with that name?
So, I always loved that show, Green Acres, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I like alliteration. I like plays on words and stuff, and so I wanted something that had alliteration, GG, or anything like BBGG, whatever.
Yeah.
And it was we're just bumping through names. We were watching that show, Deadliest Catch, and they called this guy a greenhorn. What about Greenhorn Grove?
Yeah.
And we'd gone through 50 to 100 names. My wife had been like, "No, that's stupid. No, I hate it. No, it's terrible." And I said, "What about Greenhorn Grove?" And she goes,
that might be it.
There we are.
Get it, write it down.
That's the one. There it is.
Oh, that's cool, man. So this has been another episode of Eggcellent Adventures. Matt, Greenhorn Grove. I'm so glad. I hate that how we met for real happened, but I'm so glad it did. I'm so glad it did. We're about to go check the farm out. So if you're listening to this episode, go on our social media and see some of the behind the scenes footage. We gone.